Okay, on to the protester in the room. Our Parliament grounds look like a trailer park crossed with Woodstock. And if torrential rain and the horrible winds of the weekend didn't drive them out, what is going to?
These people are unwelcome. They are interfering with the normal life of Wellingtonians, and you think it's a joke.
Hold on. When did I say I think it's a joke?
You're supporting them.
I've seen a lot of protesters in Wellington. When you live in Wellington, you kind of just get used to it. And this is the first time where I've seen them being ignored. And I think that's creating a little digging in mentality of that not one MP has come out.
The bigger picture here, you've got to start engaging with them. You've got to stop mocking them and making them out to be fringe minority nutbags, because they're not.
You think the police are doing a wonderful job?
They are doing a wonderful job, Dean. Do you want people hurt?
No, but I just think arrest some and then arrest some more.
Dean, start looking at it like logically. Can you remember back to Thursday when all those arrests were happening? People were coming from all over the country.
I listened to Jacinda yesterday, and please don't get me wrong, I'm double vaxxed, I voted for her, and I'm kind of ashamed now that I did. I can't stand what this has done to our country. You know what happens to, we're going to be the party that governs for all New Zealanders? That's not what I'm seeing. Not at all.
What kind of leadership do you want? What kind of government? Shall we continue with the fear and the constant emergencies and the lockdowns and the mandates and all the rules that divide and isolate us? And shall we continue with the demonizing and censoring of anyone who disagrees with our government? Or shall we try a new leadership, one that builds community, that brings us together and unites us?
Ki te atu I runga rawa he maungarongo ki tono iwi rungi I te whenua. Gloria nui me te honere te matua kaharoa I kunne ngā wahi katoa I naene ake tonu atu. Āmene. Look at what we have created within the last 8 days, people. Set up this beautiful village, a community within a community, a city within a city, a nation within a nation, and it required no political influence, but it came from the people power and not the political power. The moment political stuff starts putting their mitts in this, they will start to segregate us, separate us, and divide us. But give yourselves a round of applause for people power over political power.
If you wanted an illustration of just what it did to people, we were in this truck and this guy who was a Wellingtonian just came and he was drawn to just look out for us. He would say, well, what do you need? Then he'd come back the next day with all these battery packs or with games for the children or everything really. You know, he said how it made a big transformation in his life. The people there were just an extraordinary mix of New Zealanders. We were so different from each other, and yet we had this common purpose, and we were united in that in a way that it's very hard to feel that sort of unity in regular daily life.
But on top of that, people, look at the environment that we have created here, an environment of aroha. Somebody say aroha. Do you know what aroha means? It means love. We've created that environment here. On top of that, we've created an environment of whakawhanaungatanga. Whakawhanaungatanga means supporting one another, despite your differences, your belief or your culture. Then on top of that, manaakitanga. Somebody say manaakitanga. Manaakitanga means we are all the same. We can work together in unity.
It's talking about love and truth.
A friend of mine then went and saw our member for Central Auckland, Chloe Swarbrick, and Chloe tried to say, she felt frightened. She looked out the window and she saw all these hordes. And my friend just said, "You are lying. There was nothing like that at all." But they were all told by their party leaders they couldn't go and speak with us. It was just an absolute failure of any kind of proper representation.
And that is true.
At the front of this place, there are people who I think we all feel for. There are some people who are confused, there are some people who are scared, there are some people who have been manipulated by an avalanche of misinformation. There are some people who have been hurt over the past couple of years and they're lashing out, and we feel for those people. But underneath all of that, Madam Speaker, there is a river of filth. There is a river of violence and menace. There is a river of anti-Semitism. There is a river of Islamophobia. I would say, Madam Speaker, that there is a river of genuine fascism in parts of the event that we see out the front of this Parliament today. And I just urge colleagues in this House to not give succour and comfort to an emergent and dangerous far-right movement.
Michael Wood. I think he was doing that to just cause more divide and more hate, just to upset those watching the TV.
Everybody say Aotearoa. That's another word for beautiful. That was lovely. Okay, whānau, let's have another hug, please. Turn to some people, have 3 hugs.
But it didn't really work like that. I think it got people more determined that we are not the river of filth. We're caring, we're kind, we're loving. We just want someone to come out and talk to us for freedom, for mandates to drop, vaccine passes to stop, and for children to be able to go back to living a life of being kids.
So whānau, it's amazing that you've all made your way here. I just want to honour everybody for being here. For me, when I arrived, I looked at what I could do to support, and I ended up holding this microphone for 9 days. And that's something that I'm comfortable to do, and it's a privilege and an honour. For me, that's how I can help. So for all of us here, I really feel it's a matter of tuning into your kete of wisdom, your skills, and finding your place in this space.
Why can't you see the same as me? If we play the game of this rock race, is this normal?
Some people, it might be working in the first aid. Some, it might be giving midi massages to heal us and keep us in good shape. Some people, it might be offering yoga like they will be doing 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So, whānau, I want you to look for your space, finding how you can best offer your energy to this kaupapa.
Democracy isn't going to work unless you agree. It's open discussion, and yes, you're still not going to agree or disagree on all the matters, but at least you're actually listening to everyone. And so him saying river of filth and trying to make people hate is pretty disgusting, really.
Enough is enough.
One of the biggest things that kept us together was the music. When you're moving together and you're singing together and you're just on the same frequency together and you just become unbreakable.
Call me a dreamer, a goddamn believer, with no inner side. There's another fight in front of us. We want freedom, give us our freedom. We're here to love and rise above. Enough is enough. Thank you, people.
They didn't know we could do this. And I'm so happy to see everybody coming together. And as we get more and more unity and people get braver at speaking out and sharing their stories, we're learning that the things that we've been going through were not just us, but they were shared by each other. We're We're doing it with love, aroha. We're doing it with unity. We're doing it by creating the world that we want. And it's going to take every single one of us, because every single one of us have got a piece of the puzzle to create the future that we want. And I'm just wondering how much is helping our mental health to be able to be together and feel like we are part of something so much bigger than ourselves.
One of the great examples of people power and unity was the 7 ladies that went to prison. There was around about 120 people got arrested on that first Thursday, and these 7 ladies collaborated and they wouldn't sign their bail conditions, and that meant the police put them into a women's prison for the weekend, and that turned out to be one of the very best things that they possibly could have done, because in the end this unbreakable 7 ended up being thrown out onto the streets by the police because they were obviously not going to change their minds. And because they did that, all 120 people that were arrested on that first Thursday, all of them had their bail conditions dropped because the judge had no choice.
Holding the line, do not sign, was our mantra. And I tell you guys, we could not have done that without 7 of us. There's something magic about 7. Every single one of us did something along that journey of 5 days in our incarceration that kept us strong, kept us together, and helped us to do the job that we were here to do, which is to make change in our country and to be heard.
And whilst they were there, they were in different cells, and they used music to keep their spirits up, to keep their unity. They're standing firm, they're not giving in to something they haven't done, and then to use the singing as a way to endure it and to not lose hope just showed how they were able to find a way to be powerful together, even though the police had done everything they could to divide them.
You can shove those flipping devils up your ass. You can shove those flipping veil phones, shove those flipping veil phones, shove those flipping devils up your ass. 'Cause we will keep on camping on the grass. We will keep on camping on the grass. We will keep on camping, keep on camping, keep on camping on the grass. We can shove Jacinda's mandates up her ass. We can shove Jacinda's mandates up her ass. We can shove Jacinda's mandates, shove Jacinda's mandates, shove Jacinda's mandates up her ass.
You know, none of us were professional protesters. Most of us had never protested a day in our lives. So for those ladies to come together in that way, it's either instinct or it's intellect. And then when they're out, they're going to have those bail conditions dropped for 120 people. That's a heck of a slap in the face. But that's what unity does. If they'd stayed on their own, they couldn't have achieved that. But together, they were powerful. In fact, together, they won.
On the right side of history that lies.